In this video, we are going to revise questions from Mathematics paper 1 for the year 2022. This is for internal. Now the first question is open brackets 3 over 2 raised to the power negative 2. So how do we evaluate a problem like this one? So there may be another step, but the first step that you may take is you need to make the given fraction or base as a positive index. So how do we make this one? You say 1 divided by now 3 over 2 raised to the power positive 2. So whenever you write a given base raised to the power negative number, then if you bring it to the denominator part, the negative changes into the positive. So from there you say 1 over 3 over 2 squared. This means 3 over 2 times 3 over 2 is equal to 1 over 3 squared is 9 over 2 squared is 4. Now from there what we are going to do is the division between 1 and 9 over 4, we'll just write it as the division sign 9 over 4. Then from there we can now change the division into multiplication, then we flip the fraction, so this will become 4 over 9. So if we multiply 1 times 4 over 9 is equal to 4 over 9. So this is our final answer. Now let's move on to question 2. Factorize completely. So 2x plus 4ay minus 3bx minus 6by. So we are going to factorize by grouping them. So let's look at the first part. So the first part, this part, then we also have this part. So let's factorize the first part. So from there we can see that the greatest common factor here is 2. Then also a is common. So apart from 2 and the a, there is no other variable or coefficient that is common. So we open the brackets, then we divide 2a into 2ax is just x, plus 2a into 4ay is 2y. So we are done with the first part. Then we can factorize the other pair. Negative 3bx minus 6by. What is common is negative. 3 is common, b is also common. So if we divide negative 3b into negative 3bx is just x, negative 3b into negative 6by, we get positive 2y. Okay, so now to check if the answer is making sense, let's look at what is formed in each bracket. So we can see that we have the same, so we are okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to factorize now 1. So our final answer is x plus 2y. Then in positive 2 minus 3b will now have its own bracket, so 2a minus 3b. So this is our final answer. Now let's move on to question 3, simplify. So we are trying to make it simple. So the first step, we are going to multiply 3 by 4x. Then the second step, 3 by negative 15. So let's begin. 3 by 4, we get 12x minus 3 times 5, 15, plus 2. Then our final answer, we can say that negative 15 and positive 2, these are like terms, so we can simplify them. So negative 15 plus 2 is negative 13. So this is our final answer. Now let's move on to question 4. Question 4, solve the equation. So we have 4y squared minus 8y. Okay, so this is a quadratic equation since the greatest power is 2. So what are we going to do? We are going to factorize. So what is common? The first common factor here is 4. 4 is common. Y is common. Then if we divide 4y into 4y squared, it's just y, minus 4y into 8y is just 2, is equal to 0. Then the first part will be 4y, you equate it to 0. Then for us to isolate y, you divide by 4, even here by 4. So our final answer, y is equal to 0. Then the other part is y minus 2 is equal to 0. Then if we move negative 2 to the other side, will give us positive 2. So these are the two values of y. So y is equal to 0. The other one, y is equal to 2. Now we have shared A union B intersection you see on the diagram in the answer space below. So what you are going to do is maybe the best way for you to understand this question, let's try to put numbers here. So let's say we have 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then after we've done this, let's look at the first part. The first part is A union B. So A union B. So A union B, we are looking at the elements that are found in A and in B. So we are trying to combine set A and set B. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Okay. Then from there, let's also look at first the element of set C. So the element for set C, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now from there, our focus is what is intersection of A union B, then intersecting C. What is this intersection? So for you to see the intersection, you need to look at what elements are common in A union B and in C. So from the given two sets, we can see that 3 is common, 4 is common also, 5 is common. So 3, 4, 5 indicates the region of interest. So this is where you should do shade. But you need to, let me just first get rid of this since we have found the area. So this is where now the region that must be shaded. Okay, now let's move on to question 6. A company declared a dividend of 2.75 kwacha per share. A business invested 560 shares in the company. How much dividend did he get? So we are given the amount of money given per share as a dividend and also the number of shares. So what we are going to do is we need to multiply the number of shares times the dividend given per share. So the dividend is 2.75. So what do you do in mathematics paper 1 where calculators are not allowed? So what we are supposed to do is we are going to ignore the first, the negative party. So just consider 275. Then from the number 560, we'll ignore the 0. So just get 56. Now let's do multiplication. So 6 times 5 is 30. So 0, we carry the 3. 6 times 7, that is 42 plus 3, 45. We carry the 4. 6 times 2, 6 times 2 is 12, plus the 4, we have 16 here. Then we go to 5, 5 times 5, 25, we carry 2, 5 times 7, 35, plus 2, 37, we carry 3, 5 times 2, 10, plus 3, 13. So we can now do the addition here. We have 0, 10, we have 0, carry 1, 6 plus 7, 13 plus 1, 14, 4, we carry 1, 3 plus 1, 4 plus the one that we carried, 5, then here we have 1. So the final answer is 15,400. Now let's go back here. We ignore a 0 from the 650, I mean 560, so we are going to add that 0. So we get now 1,154,000. Okay, so this is our answer. Now for us to find the actual final answer, we need to go back to this amount for dividend. We can see that the number is 2.75. so how many decimal places do we have? We have 1, 2. So we need to go back to this number 1, 2. So our final answer is 1540. We can end it like this, or if you want we can say 0.00. So this is the amount of money they each got per share. Okay, so now we move on to question 7. Given 2, -1, -4 are consecutive terms of an arithmetic progression, find a common difference. Okay, so 2 is our first term, -1 is our second term, -4 is our third term. So how do we find the common difference? We use the formula. So common difference is equal to second term minus first term. So second term is -1 minus 2. Then our common difference is -3. Then let's look at the formula for the nth term. You need to apply the formula. So Tn is equal to a first number plus n minus 1 multiplied by common difference. So under formula for the nth term, you don't substitute where there is n. So we are not given the number of terms here. So it's Tn is equal to a is our first number in our sequence, 2 plus n minus 1 multiplied by -3. Then we'll do algebra. So -3 will multiply with positive n, giving us 3n. The second one, -3 will multiply with -1, giving us positive 3. Then we can put the like terms together, 2 and 3. So -3n plus 2 plus 3. Then our final answer, -3n plus 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. Now let's move on to question 8a. The probability that a boy will be late for school on a particular day is x. So x represents the probability that this boy will be late for school. Then find in terms of x the probability that he will not be late for school. So how do you deal with probability? If you are given one probability, how do you find the other probability? So we need to subtract the given probability from one, then we have the missing probability. But the formula, we can just say probability of will be late plus probability of will not be late is equal to 1. So probability of will be late is x plus probability we will not be late is what we are solving for, is equal to 1. So we need to shift this x to the other side, giving us p probability of will not be late is equal to 1 minus x. So this is our final answer, since we are told to find in terms of x. Now let's look at question B. The vectors Rs, -4 and 5, given that the coordinates of the point S are 1 and 2, find the coordinates of the point R. So -4 and 5, these are the components for the RS, the combination of RS. Now from that RS, the coordinates from that are 1 and 2. So how can we find the R? So what we are going to do is we need to subtract 1 and 2 from the combination of R and S, then we have R. So just say R is equal to RS, the vector RS, minus the vector S. So our R is equal to RS is equal to now -4, 5 minus our S is 1 and 2. Okay, so -4 minus 1, then 5 minus 2. -4 minus 1 is -5. 5 minus 2 is 3. So this is our final answer. Okay, so now we can move on to question 9. The matrix M has 1, 5, 2, 7, and the matrix N 0, 1, 2, 0. Find the transpose of M. Okay, so we have first part is we need to find a transpose. So what do you do for transpose? For transpose, you just change the columns with the rows of the first matrix. So the first row of the matrix M is 1 and 5, so that will become the first column. So we have 1, 5 here. Then our second row, 2, 7, will come the second column, 2, 7 here. So this is our final answer. Now the second part, we need to find a product of N and M. So begin by N 0, 1, 2, 0. Then okay, for M 1, 5, 2, 7. So let's begin. So we'll do row by column. So the first row is 0 and 1. The first column here is 1, 2. So 0 times 1 is 0, plus 1 times 2 is 2. Then we go to the second column. 0 times 5 is 0, plus 1 times 7 is 7. Then we move on to the row number 2. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 0 times 2 is 0. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 0 times 7 is 0. Then our final answer here, 0 plus 2, 2, 0 plus 7, 7, 2 plus 0, 2, 10 plus 0, 10. So this is how we can find the product. Now move on to question 10. Given that the universal set has elements 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, x has element 1, 5, 9, and y 3, 9, 11. List x intersection y. So x intersection y complement. So we have this x intersecting y. So what is the x intersecting y first? So we need to look at the coordinates that are found in x and y. Then we'll look at the complement later. So let's look at x intersecting y. So for this one, the elements that are common will have 9. So 9 is common. So 9 is the only element that is common. Now we want to list the x intersecting y complement. So the elements from y, including those that is intersecting from x, should not be part of our answer. So our final answer is x intersecting y complement is equal to, so what is remaining? What is remaining is 1, 5. So since the relationship is just between x and y, we will know the remaining part of the universal set. So 1 and 5, these are our answers. Now let's move on to question B. The diagram shows two triangles A and B. So triangle A and triangle B. So from here we need to look at what transformation occurred between the two. What transformed A to form B. So let's look at the way A and B are. So these two are like facing each other. They're like opposite of each. Like if you look into the mirror, you see the image of yourself. So this is reflection. So for us to describe a single transformation where reflection is involved, we need to look at what is our mirror line. So from this, the mirror line should be in between the two triangles. So this is where our mirror line is. Then this mirror line is equal to, y is equal to, it is passing through 2. So after we have identified the type of transformation and also we have found the mirror line, we can now proceed by describing. So we'd say triangle A was mapped onto triangle B by reflection in the mirror line, y is equal to 2. So whenever you are trying to describe transformation involving reflection, you just have to state the mirror line. Okay, now let's move on to question 11. In the following diagram, points A and B lie on latitude 60 degrees, while point C is on latitude 30 degrees north. The local time at A is 10 hours. When it is 13 hours at B, find the difference in the longitudes between A and B. So how do we find the difference whenever you are given hours? So the first step is, first we need to find the difference in hours between the 2 points. So how do we find that? We subtract 10 from 13. So 10 from 13. So 10 minus 13 is just 3. 13 minus 10 is just 3 hours. So since we are given, we have now the number of hours. So how do we find the difference in longitude? So what you do, you need to multiply the hours times 15 always. So that's how you find that. So we'll say 3 times 15. So this will give us 45 degrees. So this is our final answer. Then we can move on to Question B, a plane flew from B to C at a speed of 600 knots. How long did the plane take? So whenever you are given speed with units, knots, just know that the distance should be in nautical miles. So let's look at the formula. The formula for speed, time, and distance is speed is equal to distance over time. So what are we solving for? So how long? We are solving for time. Speed is given 600 knots. Then our work is we need to find the distance. Okay, so let's find the distance between B and C. So we can use this formula. Distance is equal to theta times 60. So this is the simplest formula you can use. Now be reminded that whenever you are trying to use this formula, the distance that you are solving for should be in nautical miles. So what's our theta? The difference between the latitude of B and that of C. So the latitude of B is on 60 degrees south, while for C 30 degrees north. So we are going to add. So 30 plus 60, we get 90. So that is our theta, 90 times 60. So we'll just say 9 times 6. So 9 times 6, let's say 9 times 3. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 plus 27, that is 54. So 9 times 6 is 54. Then we add these two zeros. So this is our distance in nautical miles. So we can now proceed. If what we can make t the subject of the formula. So over 1 cross multiply s times t is st, 1 times d is d. So we are solving for t, we divide by s, even here by s. So t is equal to distance over speed. So t is equal to distance is 5,400 over the speed is 600 knots. So we'll cancel this. So how many times can 6 go into 50? 4. So let's first reduce. 3 is common. 3 into 5 is 1. Remainder 2. 3 into 24 is 8. 3 into 6 is 2. 2 into 18, that is 9. So the final answer is 9 hours. We move on now to question 12. A, find the gradient of the line passing through the points 4, -6 and B 2, 4. So we are trying to find the slope given 2 points. So the formula is gradient change in y divided by change in x, or rise over run. So let's look at the coordinates. 4, -6. So this is our x1, y1, 2, 4, x2, y2. So let's proceed. Our y2 is 4 minus our y1 is -6 over x2 is 2 minus x1 is 4. So negative times this negative, it is now 4 plus 6 over 2 minus 4 is -2. 4 plus 6 is 10 over -2. -2 into 10 is -5. So that's our slope. Then B, solve the equation. Solve the equation. So 2x raised to the power 3 is equal to 16. So we are trying to solve the equation. We want to find the value of x. So the first step is let's divide both sides by 2. Then we have x raised to the power 3 is equal to 2 into 16 is 8. Then from there we need to make sure that the powers here, the powers should be the same. So how do you do? We'll say x raised to the power 3 is equal to, then if we write 8 as base 2, so how many times can we raise it so that we will have 8? So 2 raised to the power 3 is same as 8, because we know 2 times 2 times 2 is equal to 8. So since now the powers are the same, our final answer is just this, x is equal to 2. So this is how you simplify and find the final answer of and in this question. Okay, now let's move on to question 13. In the following diagram, AB and FC are tangents to the circle center O. AC and BE produced meet at D, and angle BAC is equal to 54 degrees. So this is Theko theorem. Okay, so calculate angle. The first one, ACB, this angle. Now we have this tangent, AB is our tangent and AC is also the tangent. So these two tangents are equal. They are equal, and we can say they are touching BC. So we are forming an isosceles triangle where these two base angles must be equal. So we'll say here we have x, also here we have x. So let's solve for x. So x plus C 54 degrees is equal to 180. A triangle adds up to 180. X plus x is 2x plus 54 is equal to, then the 50 will go to their side, 180 minus 54. So 180 minus 54, so 10 minus 4 is 6, 7 minus 5, so 126. Then you divide by 2, so our x is equal to 2 into 12, so is 63. So each angle there is 63. So here we have 63, here we have 63. So angle ACB is equal to 63 degrees. Now let's move on to CBD. So CBD, this angle here. Now for us to find this angle, first we need to look at we have this diameter BD. BD is a diameter. So if BD is a diameter, then DO is the radius, and we know that whenever radius meets the tangent, they form, these two forms an angle of 90. So the angle of OBA is 90. Now from that 90 we have 63. So we are going to subtract 63 from 90, then we have this small angle here. So 90 minus 63, so 90 minus 63 is 27. Okay, so CBD. Now let's move on to CDB. CDB, this angle here. Okay, so what are we going to do? So we have ACD is a straight line, then ACB is 63. So if we subtract 63 from 180, we can have this angle. So let's find this angle. So 180 minus 63, 0 minus 3, it cuts, so we get 1 from 8. 10 minus 3 is 7. So here we have 7. 7 minus 6 is 1. So the angle BCD is 117. So let me try to redraw this. So this angle here is 117. Then this angle here is 27. So for us to find this angle, we need to add the two, then subtract them from 180. So x plus 27 plus 117 is equal to 180. So x plus, so 117 plus 27, 7 plus 7 is 14, carry 1, 1 plus 2, 3 plus the one that we carried, 4, so this is 144 is equal to 180. So 180 minus 144, so get 36. So 36 is our final answer. Okay, so now let's move on to question 14. The mass of a loaf of bread is 702.1 grams, correct? One decimal. Let's find the lower limit. So lower limit can be found by this recorded value minus the absolute error. So what's our absolute error? So since we are told correct to one decimal place, the absolute error is 0.05. So 0.05 is to one decimal place. So we need to subtract this 0.05 from 702.1. So how do we subtract? So let's just write it like this. So 0 minus 5, it can't, so we get 1 here. Or we can just say 10 minus 0.05. 10 minus 5, we just see we have 0. 5 here. 2 minus 0 is 2. 0 minus 0, 0, 7. So this is our lower limit. So whenever you're trying to find the lower limit, subtract the absolute error from the given number. If it is upper limit, you add. So upper you add, lower you subtract. Now let's look at relative error. So this error is given by absolute error divided by true value. So absolute error is 0.05 over true value 702.1. So how can we simplify a question like this? So let's look at the lowest number is 0.05. So for us to get rid of the decimal, we multiply by 100, since we have two decimal places, even this one by 100. So 0.05 times 100 is just 5 over 702.1 times 100. We get 70,000 to 110 like this. So let's see how we can simplify it further. So 5 into 5 is 1 over. So 5 into 70. 5 into 70, 35. Then 5 into 210, that is 105. So this is our final answer. 15. Two similar solids P and Q have volumes 8 centimeter cubed and 270 centimeter cubed respectively. The height of the smaller solid is 8 centimeters. Find the height of the larger solid. So how do we make calculations on similar figures? Okay, let's begin. So we have the smaller one and the larger one. So the smaller has the volume of 80 centimeter cubed. Then for the larger, 270 cubic centimeters. So for this question like this one, first we need to find the scalar factors, which is the ratio. So how do we find the ratio? Let's find the number that can go into 80 and 270 without giving us a remainder. So 10 is common, so over 10 over 10. Then we'll make sure that these 10s must carry the centimeter so that we get rid of these units. So centimeter goes 10 into 80 is just 8. Then 1 into 27 is 27. Now after finding these, we can now find the cube root. Since it's a volume, you will need to find the cube root for each number. So what is the cube root of 8? The number that you can multiply by the same 3 times is 2. Then the cube root for 27 is 3. So these are scale factor. So after finding the scale factor, we can now make the calculations. So 2 to 3, what height have we been given? The for smaller one, so the 8 will be written here. Then we put x, we cross multiply. So 2 times x is 2x. Then 8 multiplied by 3, I'll just let it be like that, over 2 over 2. So 2 here is 1, 2 here is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. And it's making sense. 12 is greater than 8 since we are solving for the larger one. Okay, now let's move on to question B. In the diagram, FGH is a straight line. FG is equal to 8 centimeters, EG is equal to 10 centimeters, and angle FG, EFG is equal to 90 degrees. So find the value of sine EGH. So the angle is G, the one in between. So if this is our angle, this is our opposite, then adjacent, we have hypotenuse here. Now for us to find the sine from the SOHCAHTOA party, sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So that is for sine. So sine EGH is equal, so we need the opposite. We don't have the opposite for hypotenuse, we have it. So given two distances, how can we find the third one? We use Pythagoras theorem. So for Pythagoras theorem, we'll say we have A, then B, C. So the general formula is C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. Then since we are solving for A, we change our formula to A squared is equal to, now we subtract always C squared minus B squared. So you subtract the smaller from the greater. So let's now do, So our C is the longest hypotenuse, 10 times 10, minus our B is 8 times 8. So a squared is equal to 10 squared is 100, 8 squared is 64. So if we proceed, 100 minus 64 is 36. So the square root of a squared and 36, so our final answer a is equal to 6. So here we have 6 centimeters. So now we can proceed. So our opposite is 6 centimeters over our hypotenuse, that is 10 centimeters. So we cancel, then we can reduce 2 into 6 is 3 over 2 into 10 is 5. So the final answer is 3 over 5. Okay, so now we move on to question 16. Y varies directly as the square of x and inversely as z, and y is equal to 2 when x is equal to 4 and z is equal to 24. Find a value of k, the constant of variation. So let's first begin by making the equation for this data. So the first letter is y, varies directly as the square of x. So x will be raised to the power 2. That's the language of mathematics. So square means raised to the power 2. Then and inversely as z. So since the z is inversely, this will be as a fraction 1 over z. So whenever you have the language of inversely, make sure you write it as a fraction. Then we can remove this symbol. So this will be now equal to y is equal to k. We introduce k, the constant, k times x squared is kx squared over z. So this is our equation. Now from there we can now find the values of k. So for us to find the values of k, the values for y, x and z must be those from the statement. So let's look at the value for y is 2. Then k is what we are solving for. For x is 4. So 4 squared. I'll just leave it 4 times 4. Then for z is 24 over 1. We cross multiply. So we have k. So I am not going to multiply 4 times 4 to give me 16. So what I'm going to do is I'll just leave it like that. So this will be 4 times 4. Then 2 times so 24. I like to break the numbers in parts. 24 is same as 6 times 4. So that is 24y. So that if I cancel this 4, also this 4, you can see that here we have 1k is equal to 2 times 6 is same as 2 times 3. So over 4 over 4. We know that these two cancel with this, so our k is equal to 3. So this is just one of my ways of simplifying, but if you want, you can multiply them, then find the final answer and divide if that is okay for you. Now the disadvantage of doing that, it may give you a large number that may give you some complications. Now let's proceed by moving to question B. Value of y when x is equal to 9 and z is equal to 27. So y is equal to kx squared over z. So what's our k? 3. X is given 9 squared, so it's 9 times 9 over, what's our z? 27. So 27, how can I break 27? 27 is same as 3 times 9. so that I can cancel this, can cancel this, I can cancel this, I can cancel this. So my final answer, y is equal to 9. Let's solve for C. So C, value of x when y is equal to 8 and z is equal to 6. So y is equal to kx squared over z. What's our y? 8. Okay, then x is what we are solving for. So x squared over, what's our z? Our z is 6 over 1. Oh, so we've forgotten to write the value of k since we have it. So this is 3x squared over 1, we cross multiply. So 3 times x squared is just 3. X squared is equal to, now for 6 is same as 2 times 3 multiplied by 8. So over 3 x squared is equal to this 3, this 3 cancels. So 2 times 8 is 16. Now let's find the square root. So x is equal to plus or minus 4. So these are the two answers. So this is how we can simplify a question like this one. So now we move on to question 17a. The diagram below shows a regular triangular prism. Then the question is describe the symmetry of the prism. So if we hear the word regular, this means that the sides for each base is equal. So the sides are equal. Now since the sides are equal, we are going to have the number of rotation will be equal to the number of the sides. So let's look at how many sides we have. So we can see that each face has a triangle side. So we have 3 sides. So if this were allowed to rotate, how many times can it rotate to go back to its original position? So this can rotate 3 times since it has 3 sides. So order of rotation is 3. So for you to describe, first you need to find order of rotation, then number 2, angle of rotation. So angle of rotation can be found by 360. You divide by the order. So 3 into 36. So 3 into 360 is 120. So that is the angle. So for every rotation, this prism is making an angle of 120. So now we can describe. So we'll say a triangular prism has an order of rotation 3 and angle of rotation 100, angle of rotation 100 at 20 degrees. So keep it in mind, so that whenever you are asked to describe, you need to have the order and angle of rotation. Now let's move on to question B. In the space below is an incomplete program written in pseudocode for calculating the curved surface area of a cone with base radius r and slant height as complete the program. We have been given the formula. Curved surface area is equal to pi rs. Okay, so the first one, start, enter. So we enter radius and the slant height. So radius and slant height, these two distances represent the inputs. Then for the second one here, we are going to say area is equal to pi times the r times the slant height. Then the output area stop. So that is our answer. Okay, so now we move on to question 18a. ABC is a straight line. The coordinates of the points A and B are 2,1 and -6,5 respectively. Given that B is the midpoint of AC, find the coordinates of C. So the picture here is A has 2,1, B -6,5, C x, y. We don't have for C. So our work, we need to find the coordinates for C. So given the coordinates for midpoint, so how do you find the coordinates for a missing point? Given the coordinate for midpoint and 1 point. So let's first write the formula for the midpoint. So midpoint is equal to x2 plus x1 divided by y2 plus y1 divided by 2. So for the midpoint, we have the coordinate for the midpoint, -6, 5 is equal to, so what are we going to do? We'll consider this is our x1, x2, y1, y2. So what is our x2? Is just x plus c, y1 is 2 over 2, comma, what's our y2? Y plus c, y1 is 1 over 2. Now from the pair of the coordinates for the midpoint, the first number -6 denotes the x, then this denotes the y. So what you are going to do is this number here must be equal to this first part. Then our 5 should go with y plus 1 over 2. So we need to make two equations. So -6 is equal to x plus 2 over 2. So over 1 we cross multiply. 1 times x plus 2 is x plus 2. 2 times -6 is -12. So move 2 to this side will give us x is equal to -12 minus 2, x is equal to -14. Let's solve for y. So for y is now 5 is equal to y plus 1 over 2 over 1. So 1 times y plus 1 is just y plus 1. 2 times 5 is 10. We move 1 to the other side, giving us y is equal to 10 minus 1. Y is equal to 9. So this is how we can find the coordinates. So therefore, the coordinates of C are -14,9. Now let's move on to question B. In the diagram, AOB is a sector of a circle, center O angle AOB is equal to 72 degrees, and the radius is 14 centimeters. Calculate the area of the sector given pi is equal to 2 over 7. So area of the sector is equal to theta over 360 pi r squared. Okay, so area is equal to theta is 72 over 360 times pi, 22 over 7 times radius, 14 times another 14. Now let's see how can we break these numbers. So what two numbers here can we multiply to give us 72? And we need to make sure that one of those numbers must be equal to the numbers that we are going to break for 360. So 72 is same as 2 times 36 degrees over 360 is same as 10 times 36. Okay, so we are done here. Then here we have 22 over 7. This 14 is same as 7 times 2 times 14. Okay, so what can we cancel? We cancel this. So we have area is equal to 2 over 10 times 22 times this 7 will cancel. So we have 2 times 14. So what else can we cancel? So we can 2 here is 1, 2 here is 5. So we have 1 over 5 times 22 times 2 times 14 is 28. Okay, so let's see how we find the final answer. So let's first multiply 22 times 28. So we use the odd way. So 2 times 8, 16, carry 1. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1, 5. 2 times here, 16, carry 1. Then 2 times here is also 4 plus 5. So 6, here we have 11, then 16. So our final answer is 16. Now the remaining part is we just divide by 5. So let's divide. 5 into 6 is 1, remainder 1. Then 5 into 11 is 2, remainder 1. 5 into 16 is 3, remainder 1. 5 into 1 it can't, we put decimal, then we add a 0. 5 into 10 is just 5 centimeters squared. So this is our area. Then question 19, given that f of x is equal to 3x plus 1 and g of x is equal to 4x minus 1, find the first one, f of the inverse. So the original function for f of x is equal to 3x plus 1. Now for us to find the inverse where there is f of x, we put y is equal to 3x plus 1. Then we are going to make x the subject of formula. So I'll begin by writing 3x plus 1. I've done nothing here. I've just rearranged by beginning with 3x plus 1. So then we will shift 1 to the other side, giving us 3x is equal to y minus 1. So we divide by 3, even here by 3. So x is equal to y minus 1 over 3. Since we are done making x the subject of formula, where there is x we substitute with now f of inverse of x is equal to, we replace y with x minus 1 over 3. Okay, so now let's move on to question B, f of inverse of negative 5. So this simply means x is equal to negative 5. So where there is x, we put negative 5, even here by negative 5 minus 1 over 3. So negative 5 minus 1 is negative 6 over 3. 3 into negative 6 is negative 2. Then the part C, we need to find a composite. We need to combine the two functions. So f of g of x is equal to f, open brackets, so the inside function is g of x. So the function for f and the original function f is 3x plus 1. So now where there is x here, we are going to substitute with this function, the function for g. So this will be 3, then 4x minus 1 plus 1. So 3 times 4x is 12x. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3 plus 1. So our final answer is negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. Okay, so now move on to question 20. In the following diagram, angle BAC is 46 degrees and AC is equal to BC. B is due east of A. So what this simply means is the line AB touches the line AN perpendicularly, so we have 90 degrees. So what is our first step whenever we are dealing with bearings? So we extend here, we need to extend a line, also we put the line here. Also we need to put a line here. So these lines that we have drawn, these are perpendicular lines to each other. Okay, now let's look at the first question. The first question is calculate the bearing of A from C. A from C. So let's look at the line AC. So the line AC, we are able to see the line AC. This is A. Then here, this is our C. So we are moving from C to A. So the line C is this one, then moving in this direction. So that is the angle that we are solving for. So what angle is this one? Okay, so how can we find this angle? So what we are going to do is, first let's begin by finding this angle. Now we are told that B is due of A, so this means that this angle here is 90 degrees. So these two are perpendicular to each other. So from that 90 we have an angle 46. So let's subtract 46 from 90. So we get 10 minus 6 is 4. Here we have 8. 8 minus 4. 8 minus 4 is 4. So 90 minus 46 is 44. So this angle is equal to 44. If this angle is equal to 44, then we know the interior, this interior alternate angle are equal. Since here we have 44, even here we have 44. Now we can see that we have this line 180 plus 44. Then we have the first answer here. So the answer for number 1, A from C is equal to 180 plus 44, which is giving us 224. So 224 is our final answer for first part. Now for the second part, C from B. C from B. So let's look at line CB. Line CB is this line is, that is our line CB. So now we are moving from B. So this is our B moving in this direction. It's a clockwise direction until we reach this. So this is the angle that we are solving for. So how can we solve for this angle? What do we have that can help us to find this angle here? Okay, so what we are going to do is we need to look at the way this triangle is. We have been given this two. So this angle and this angle, these two angles are equal. So here we have 46. Also here we have 46. So if we have 46 here, if this is our 46, then we know that this is a 90 degrees angle, since the line AB with BN is perpendicular, since we have this condition of due, so it's perpendicular. So we have 4690, then this is 180. So our final answer will be C from B is equal to 46 plus 90 plus 180. So 90 plus 46 is 136 plus 180. So 180 plus 136, so let's add. So 0 plus 6 is just 6. 3 plus 8 is 11 here. So our final answer, this should be 11, so 316. So this is how we can find the angles on a bearing. So we can now move on to question 21. So write the four inequalities that defined the unshaded region R in the diagram below. Okay, so now let's look at so we'll begin with, so this will be our first inequality, second inequality, third, fourth. So you first begin by writing the inequality for those lines touching one axis only. So let's first begin by this one. So this line, we can see that it is cutting the x-axis at -2. So our inequality is x -2. Now, if we look at this line, this region is less, then here is greater. So we can see that the shaded is the less, so we are looking for greater. So our final answer is x is greater than or equal to -2. Let's look at the second one. The second one, this one is cutting the x-axis at 4. Okay, so this is x, then 4. Now between the two regions, this region is greater, then this less. So whenever you have a vertical line, a region to the right is greater while to the left is less. So we are looking for the less party, so we use less than or equal to. Now let's move on to number 3. Number 3, we can see that this line is now cutting the y-axis at 2. So y at 2, then the upper is greater, the lower is less. So we are looking for the greater, so we use the greater, but this time we are not going to use the equal to, since the line is in dotted. Now we have the remaining one, the fourth one, which is cutting the two axes. So we need to find the coordinates at this point and also here. So at that point is 0,6. So this will be our x1, y1. Then this one is 8,0, x2, y2. So for us to find the equation of the straight line, first we need to begin by finding the gradient. So the gradient is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2 is 0, y1 is 6 over x2 is 8 minus 0. So 0 minus 6 is -6 over 8. If we reduce if we divide the 2 into 6 is 3 over 4. So our final answer is -3 over 4. So now the equation formula, y minus y, y1 is equal to gradient, open bracket, x minus x1. So our y1 is 6, gradient is negative 3 over 4, x minus x1, x1 is 0. So first you can expand by negative 3 over 4 times x and also times negative 0, or you can first get rid of the fraction. So my ways of simplifying this, I want to first get rid of the fraction. So you multiply by the denominator of that fraction, in our case 4. So this 4 will first multiply with y. So 4 times y is 4y. Then 4 times negative 6 is negative 24. Then 4 times negative 3 over 4 is just negative 3. Then x minus 0. So what has happened here is negative 3 over 4 times 4. So this 4 and this 4 will cancel. Then 4y minus 24 is equal to this negative 3 times x is negative 3x, negative 3 times negative 0, that is just positive 0. Then we'll shift this to the other side, will give us 4y is equal to negative 3x plus 24. So we can divide by 4, divide by 4 now, divide by 4. So y negative 3 over 4 plus 4 into 24 is just 6. Now let's look at the region of interest. The upper is greater, then the lower is less. So we are looking for the lower, and we have a solid line, so we use less than or equal to. So these are the 4 inequalities that we were solving for. Now we can move on to question. Okay, so now we continue with question 22. So under question 22, we can see that we have a question where we are trying to find dy over dx. So let's look at the equation. So the original equation is y is equal to x squared minus 4x plus 3. So dy over dx, we are differentiating using the power rule. So for us to use the power rule, these two will move to the front of x. So this will become 2x. Then immediately you subtract 1 from 2 minus 4. Here we have a 1. So this will be 1x. 1 minus 1. The derivative of a constant is 0. Then we can now simplify 2x. 2 minus 1 is just 1, minus 4. 1 minus 1 is 0. Our final answer is 2 times 2x is 4x, minus here x raised to the power 1, raised to the power 0 is 1, because anything raised to the power 0 is 1, minus 4 times 1 is 4. So if you need more of these, you can just search. I have videos on this part of calculus. Now let's look at question B. The sketch shows the graph of y is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 8. Find the coordinates of Roman number 1, a and b. So a and b, we can see that these letters are on the x-axis, so we are solving for the x-intercept. So for us to find the x-intercept, we need to substitute y with 0. So x squared minus 2x minus 8 is equal to 0. So we have a, b, c. So you can use the method that you are comfortable with, but let's just use the factorization. So for us to find factorization, we need to find the product. So the product is the value of a multiplied by the value of c. The value of a is 1 times negative 8 is negative 8. Then for us to find sum is just the value of b. In our case is -2. Then we need to find the two factors, numbers that we can add to give us -2 and multiply to give us -8. So let's see. What you have to do is you get the product with the sign. So the product is negative. So we'll begin with 1. So let's divide 1 into -8 is -8. So let's check if -8 and 1 are factors. So 1 times -8 is -8. So they are able to give us the the product. 1 minus, if we add 1 plus -8 will give us -7. So 1 and -8 are not the factors. Let's try 2. So we can divide 2 into -8 is -4. So let's try 2 times -4 is -8. 2 plus -4 is -2. So we're able to get the product and the sum. So 2 and -4 are the factors that we are solving for. So 2, -4. Now whenever if you are trying to use this method of finding the factors, make sure the numbers that you are using should be divisible by the product. So now let's proceed. So here we have x squared. Then the first factor is 2. This becomes 2x. Then minus 4x minus 8 is equal to 0. So we can see that if we are able to add 2x minus 4x must give us -2x. So let's first now factorize these two and also factorize these two. So what is common here is x is common. X into x squared is x plus c. X into 2x is just 2. What is common here is -4. -4 into 4x is x. Negative into negative plus 4 into 8 is 2 is equal to 0. So you can see that these two are equal, so we are okay. Then we get 1 x plus 2. Then these two form a new bracket, so x minus 4. So if the question was factorized, we are done. Now we are solving. So x plus 2 is equal to 0. So we shift 2 to the other side so that we correct the like term. So this will be, if 2 shift to the other side, will become -2. Or x minus 4 is equal to 0. If this shift to the other side will give us 4. So we have two values of x. One is negative, the other one is positive. So the negative will go with the a, since a is on the negative side. So our a is -2, 0. Then our b is +4, 0. Okay, so since we are done, let's go to the minimum point on the graph. So this, for you to find the minimum, we need to find the y coordinates of the turning point. So the formula is y is equal to 4ac minus b squared over 4a. So let's look for what's our a. A is the number in front of x squared, 1. What's our c? -8. B is -2 squared over 4 times 1. So 4 times 1 times -8 is -32 minus -2 squared is +4 over 4. So negative 32 minus 4 is negative 36 over 4. So 4 into negative 36 is negative 9. So this is our minimum point. This is the point here. Now we move on to the last question for this paper. The diagram below is the speed time graph of an object. The object starts from rest and accelerates uniformly for 2 seconds until it reaches a speed of 10 meters per second. It then travels at this speed for 8 seconds and finally decides to rest after 5 seconds. The first one, find the retardation of the object in the last 5 seconds. So we are finding the acceleration in the last 5 seconds. So acceleration is equal to final minus initial over t. So this point, this is our initial because it's where the line is starting to decelerate. So this is our final. So the final velocity is if we go in the y-axis is 10 minus, the final isn't 10. So the final, since it is touching the x-axis or since it came to rest, the final is always 0. Then the initial, if we move, the initial is 10 over, we are told in the last 5 seconds. So 0 minus 10 is minus 10 over 5. 5 into negative 10 is 2 meters per second squared. So this is the acceleration is negative because we are looking at the deceleration. Then B, distance traveled in the first 10 seconds. So the first 10 seconds is this. So what shape is this forming? So this is forming a trapezium. So distance is equal to half A plus B times H. So distance is equal to half. A is the value from here up to here. So if we are looking for the value of A, you need to move down into the x-axis. So what is the difference between 2 and 10? So it's 8 plus the value of B is this from here up to here. So it's 10. Then our height is also 10. So we can 2 here is 1, 2 here is 5. So 10 plus 8 is 18 times 5. So 5 times 8 is 40. We carry the 4. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 4. So we are able to get 90. So 90 meters is the distance traveled in the first 10 seconds. Now see the average speed of the object for the origin. So since we are solving for the average speed, first we need to find the total distance. So since we've calculated the distance in the first 10 seconds, let's calculate the distance in the last 5 seconds. Then we'll be able to find the average speed. So distance is this polygon, the one I've shaded with yellow. This is a right angle triangle, so the formula is half BH. So half, so the B is the difference between 10 and 15. So this is 5. The height is from here up to here. We know it's 10. So distance is equal to, here is 1, to here is 5. So 5 times 5 is 25 meters. So the total distance, we are going to add 90 and 25. So 0 plus 5 is 5. 9 plus 2 is 11. So our total distance is 115 meters. Now let's look at the average speed is equal to total distance over total time taken. That's the reason why we wanted to find the other distance, since for us to find the average we need to have the total distance. So total distance is 115 meters over the total time is 15 seconds. So total time is this. So let's see which number can we use to reduce. So let's begin with 5. 5 into 11 is 2. Remainder 1. 5 into 15 is 3. Over 5 into 15 is 3. So 3 into 23. So 3 into 23 is 7. 7. Remainder 2 over 3 meters per second. So this is our average speed. So this is how we can simplify questions. So that's it for this video. If you are new, please consider subscribing, share, comment, like the video, and also don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you are notified as soon as I post a new video. Thanks for watching.